Hi, this is Red Flag Stories. Real Reddit tales of lies and betrayal. Let's go.
I'm Jake, and right now I'm sitting in my car outside my brother's house, stewing in a storm I didn't start. I haven't even walked up to the door yet. I'm parked in his driveway like some creepy piano stakeout, watching the porch light glow, wondering how the hell my life spun this far out in a single evening. Just a few hours ago, 2 cops showed up at my door, and somehow, it feels like I've aged 10 years since then. I can barely even recall the drive here. It's like my brain shut down and let the car take over. Before that, I'd been dead asleep on the couch, deep in one of those Sunday afternoon comas where you're so relaxed you'd swear the world doesn't exist. Then bang, bang, bang. Flashlights slice across my front windows like they're searching for a fugitive. I drag myself to the door in pajama pants, barefoot, hair looking like I got electrocuted. I open the door and there they are, 2 cops. No greeting. No. Sorry to wake you. Just business. One says, "Sir, could you step outside, please?" I'm thinking, what? Did I snore loud enough for a noise complaint? Did I forget to pay for Netflix? But I step out. And then, before I can even breathe, he asks, "Where's your wife?" I turn my head and see Amanda standing behind me, arms crossed, chin tilted up like she's the one calling the shots here. She won't even look at me, just smirks faintly like she's already decided how this night will end. And that's when I feel it, that slow, cold dread climbing up my spine. The cops split us up immediately, one leading me aside, the other pulling her toward the porch. The officer with me has the standard "seen it all" face. He starts asking me questions, and I answer honestly because, at this point, I'm clueless. I'm still hoping it's some kind of misunderstanding, a noise outside, maybe an animal in the trash. But then he looks me dead in the eye and says, "Sir, we got a call claiming you've been abusing your wife." My brain freezes. Abusing Amanda? I've never laid a hand on her in my life. We barely argue about anything more serious than who left the milk out or whether I bought the wrong paper towels. And across the way, Amanda is in full performance mode. She's got this delicate tremble in her voice, like she's auditioning for a tragic drama. I catch bits and pieces. "I'm fine, just a misunderstanding," said with that calculated tone that plants doubt instead of clearing it. She's not defending me, she's making sure there's just enough suspicion to hang over my head. After what feels like forever, the cops figure out there's nothing happening. The most dangerous thing in the house is the blender. They suggest we spend the night in separate places, which Amanda agrees to instantly, like she's been waiting for the excuse. Then they leave, no arrests, thank God, but they warn they'll be back if another call comes in. I'm left in the dark, standing in my own yard like I've just been thrown out of my own life. I'm willing to bet half the neighborhood is already whispering about the guy who got the cops called on him. So here I am in my car replaying it. 6 years of marriage. No kids, just us. Never once been violent. And yet here I am wondering if my wife just set me up. Honestly, the only thing that makes sense is her new circle. A few months back, Amanda, 32 years old, yoga-obsessed, suddenly treating wine like it's a personality trait, joined this women's social club. Since then, she's been with them almost every weekend. I met some of them once, and my first thought? These women could find drama in a silent meditation retreat. Perfectly polite on the surface, but quick to dive into gossip and scandal. Amanda once told me one of them left an abusive husband, and every time the story came up, she was flooded with sympathy and attention, treated like royalty in the kingdom of tragic backstories. And lately, I can't shake the feeling Amanda wants a crown of her own. Maybe one of her friends planted the idea in her head. If she couldn't match their stories, she could fake one, play the victim, get the sympathy. Over the past couple of months, I've watched Amanda bend herself into knots to fit into their little world. Girls' night became a sacred ritual, stamped on the calendar in permanent ink. That group chat of theirs? She treats it like it's her real marriage, glued to her phone at all hours, laughing, gossiping, chiming in like her life depends on staying in their good graces. She even started copying their quirks. The same fake gasping laugh. The same smug, knowing smirk when gossip got juicy. I caught her doing it once and thought, great, we've reached the stage where she's imitating them like some desperate pledge trying to join a sorority. At first, I didn't think much of it beyond poking fun at her. Cool new friends club. But looking back, I can't shake the feeling she was rehearsing something bigger. I think she spun them some story about me, a lie that painted her as the poor, mistreated wife, trapped in a marriage with the bad guy. I don't know exactly what she told them yet, but whatever it was juicy enough for one of them to say, "Yep, time to call the cops on Jake." When the officers finally left that night, I turned to her furious. "Why would you do that? Why would you lie about me like that?" I asked. She put on her best tragic face, crying and wailing. "I never meant to hurt you." "Right. Because summoning the police to your house for a fake domestic abuse call is the kind of accident that just happens." The flashing blue and red lights outside could have been seen from space, but apparently, that didn't register for her. I was past angry. I was in that strange, hollow space where you're furious and exhausted at the same time. I grabbed a bag, walked out, and drove to my brother's. Which is how I ended up parked in his driveway, alone, trying to figure out what the hell to do next. Here's the brutal truth. If Amanda had stuck to her lie when the cops got there, I'd probably be telling this story from a jail cell right now. And I'm not built for prison, not the face, not the personality, not the patience. Just the accusation alone, no proof, no witnesses, could destroy everything. My job, my friendships, my reputation. One word from her mouth, and I'm standing in my living room, barefoot, hair sticking up like a cartoon villain, getting cuffed because my wife decided to make herself the star of her own soap opera. And the worst part? People believe the accusation first. Maybe they ask questions later, usually after you've been booked, photographed, and plastered on the local news. Amanda, the woman who promised to love and honor me, basically freelanced for the drama department at my expense. How do you come back from that? You don't. Not really. I haven't told her yet, but the word divorce has been circling my head like the world's worst song you can't stop humming. The woman I married? She's gone. And in her place is someone who would burn my life down just to get attention from her new friends. I told myself I'd get answers tomorrow. But deep down, I was already bracing for the worst. The next morning, I drove back to the house. I hadn't slept much. My brain just kept looping the same thought, what the hell just happened? When I walked in, she was at the kitchen table, looking absolutely miserable. The second she saw me, she shot up from her chair like she'd been waiting for her big redemption scene. She started apologizing immediately, words tumbling out like a badly rehearsed monologue. I stayed standing, partly because I was too tense to sit, and partly because I wasn't about to get cornered at the table like some school kid in trouble. "Start from the beginning," I told her. "What exactly did you tell your friends? Why would they think I abuse you?" That's when she started bawling, not soft, remorseful tears, but ugly, theatrical sobs. She was speaking so fast between gulps of air that it was hard to follow, almost like she wanted me so distracted by the performance that I'd forget the substance. When I finally got past the tears and the dramatic pauses, the bottom line was this: Amanda admitted she'd lied. Well, not lied, exactly, according to her. She called it exaggerating, like slapping a polite label on it somehow made it less disgusting. She told me that when she was hanging out with her new best friends, the conversations kept turning into confessionals, each woman tossing her own horror story into the pot. One had an ex-husband who sounded like a nightmare. Another had a boyfriend who was emotionally abusive. Real Hallmark Channel stuff, if Hallmark ever made movies where everyone cried over wine and relived their trauma. Amanda said she felt left out. Her words, she didn't have a big tragic story to contribute. So instead of just, not inventing one, she decided to fabricate her own made-for-TV drama. She told them I had a temper. That sometimes, when we argued, I got physical. She even tossed in a specific story, claiming I shoved her into a door frame during some heated blowout last month. A fight that never happened. Not even close. Last month, we didn't argue about anything, not even a "You forgot to take out the trash" spat. Completely, 100% fabricated. The worst I've ever done is raise my voice a few times, usually after she says she's just running to Target, and then comes back 3 hours later with half the home goods section stuffed in the trunk. But no, she went with the version where I'm this dangerous, ticking time bomb of a husband who could explode any minute. I was shaking with anger. I remember nearly shouting, "Why would you say something like that? Do you understand what you've done?" Her response? Sobbing into her hands, "I'm sorry. I never meant for it to go this far." Like she was rehearsing for the role of remorseful liar in some cheap drama series. And the worst part? Some dark part of me wasn't even surprised. Amanda's always been desperate to fit in, terrified of being the odd one out. She's the type who'd fake a peanut allergy rather than just admit she doesn't like cashews. Looking back, I can remember her bending the truth plenty of times to avoid embarrassment, or make herself look better. I just never thought she'd leap from harmless fibs to felony-level false accusations. She swore she never expected anyone to actually call the cops. In her mind it was just talk between friends, like empty-calorie gossip that somehow doesn't count if it never leaves the group chat. But apparently, one friend, let's call her future 911 caller, was so worried that she decided to make it official. Amanda claimed she was just about to come clean when the police showed up. She even tried to pat herself on the back by reminding me she told the officers it was all a misunderstanding, as if I should thank her for not actively trying to get me arrested. I just stared at her. The woman torched my life and now wanted credit for tossing a Dixie cup of water on the flames. I didn't even know what to say, mostly because everything I wanted to say would have been too ugly for polite company. I told her I needed more time and that I'd be staying at my brother's. She begged me not to give up on us, promised she'd do anything to fix it. She even offered to cut off all contact with those friends, like deleting a few numbers would magically erase the fact she lied to half the town and almost got me thrown in jail. I didn't promise her a thing. If anything, hearing her explanation just convinced me this was unforgivable. Her logic, if you can even call it that, proved she tossed me under the bus without a second thought if it meant getting a little attention in her gossip circle. I still can't wrap my head around it. Who does that to their own spouse? I told her I needed space to think, then spent the rest of the afternoon quietly Googling divorce lawyers. Spoiler, the thinking part didn't change a damn thing. I can't see any road back from this. No matter how many "I'm sorry" speeches she throws my way, the bridge is burned, the ashes are cold, and the river's already carried the wreckage downstream. A couple of days have passed since that little marital horror show, and in that time, Amanda has gone through the entire emotional buffet, texts, voicemails, alternating between tearful begging and dramatic self-blame. I've responded to exactly none of it, unless you count muttering, "Wow," at my phone before tossing it face down on the couch as responding. Instead, I called a divorce attorney and made it official. I'm filing. This afternoon, I went to the house while she was home to grab more of my stuff, and I decided to rip the Band-Aid off. No yelling, no sarcastic applause, no theatrics. I just looked her dead in the eye and said, "This marriage is over. Expect divorce papers soon." It gutted me to say it out loud, but by that point, I knew there was no alternative. I turned back to packing my bags while she stood there frozen, like a statue, though a statue that was clearly charging up for a scene. And of course, the performance came right on cue. Yesterday's watery-eyed regret? Gone, completely replaced by full-volume rage. She launched into a monologue about how I was the one betraying her by giving up, accusing me of refusing to fight for us. After everything she's done for me. That almost made me laugh out loud. Her talking about betrayal? This is the same woman who nearly gift-wrapped me for the county jail, and is upset that I'm not holding hands and singing Kumbaya with her. I told her point blank. There's no coming back from a false abuse accusation. That could have put me behind bars. That's when the act flipped again. The fury cracked, and suddenly we were back to the wide-eyed, trembling, "Please don't leave me" routine. Tears streaming down her face, she actually said, "You know I have deep-rooted people-pleasing issues. I didn't do it to hurt you. I need help." Deep-rooted people-pleasing issues. Like that's some kind of magic voucher you can redeem for forgiveness. As if I was supposed to say, "Oh, well, in that case, by all means, destroy my life. It's part of your self-growth journey." She wasn't sorry about what she did, she was mad that I wasn't hugging her through her struggle. After she'd lied about me being an abuser, I stayed unmoved. I told her flat out, "Nothing you say is going to change my mind. Your tears aren't going to work on me." The second those words left my mouth, it was like someone flipped a light switch. The sobbing stopped instantly, and bam, full rage mode again. She stepped right into my space, practically spitting her words. "If you go through with this divorce, I'll tell everyone you really did abuse me. I'll say it in court, to the judge, to your family, anyone. You'll be ruined. Do you understand me? That's my wife, the same woman who once promised to love and protect me, now openly threatening to nuke my life with more lies, just because she's losing control." I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just said, "I'm done with your games," grabbed my bag, and walked out. She was still behind me, in full banshee mode, screaming threats like she was auditioning for Revenge of the Unhinged. If she'd been holding a wine glass, I swear she would have shattered it against the wall just for dramatic effect. I didn't trust myself to stay a second longer without saying something I couldn't take back, like asking if she practiced her tantrums in front of the mirror. On my way out, I called my attorney and gave them the quick version. "Yeah, so my wife just promised to ruin my life," in her own voice, point blank. "Should I send her flowers or just file right now?" They told me to document everything, save every voicemail, every text, every threat. Which means my phone is now basically the lying wife, greatest hits collection. I was furious, past boiling, while knowing full well she was in the kind of spiteful mood where she'd burn the curtains just to watch me choke on the smoke. If she followed through on that threat, I'd be staring at a legal nightmare, The People versus Me, starring yours truly as the idiot who once believed marriage was safe. That night, I stayed at my brother's and told him everything. He blinked at me like I just said Bigfoot stole my wallet. "She actually said that?" "Word for word." "Full Bond villain delivery," I said. "He told me to protect myself." Good advice, because the next day, she made good on it. I got served with a temporary restraining order. In court, she spun a whole SVU episode, years of abuse, fear for her safety, and my threat to kill her. Then came her masterpiece, claiming I slammed her into a wall last month. I wasn't even in town. She didn't bother checking my travel dates before writing her little script. And the court bought it, no evidence, just her story and a friend's copy-paste, witness statement. Now I can't go near my own house or contact her at all. The hearing's in a couple of weeks. Until then, I'm gathering proof, texts, call logs, receipts, GPS data. I've even got messages where she admits she exaggerated. My lawyer nearly choked on his coffee reading them. This whole thing has wrecked my sleep. I just lie in my brother's guest room, staring at the ceiling, thinking about the fallout if the court swallows her lies. And now, word spreading. Mutual friends are texting. "Friend, you okay? I heard some stuff." Me. "Yeah. None of it's true." I was beyond furious, the kind of mad where your pulse is pounding in your ears. But I also knew she was in that dangerous, vindictive mood where she might set the curtains on fire just to watch me lose my mind. And if she went through with her threat? I'd be front and center in a legal nightmare, The People versus Me, starring yours truly as the idiot who thought, I do, was a good life choice. That night, I crashed at my brother's and laid out the whole ugly mess. He stared at me like I just told him Bigfoot stole my wallet. She actually said that? Every word. Full Bond villain delivery, I said. The next day, boom. I'm served with a temporary restraining order. Amanda had marched into court and spun a full-blown Law and Order SVU episode. Years of abuse, her constant fear, and my threat to kill her. The highlight? She swore that last month I slammed her into a wall and left bruises. Small problem, I wasn't even in the state. If you're going to invent crimes, maybe check my travel dates first. And the court still bought it. No photos, no proof, nothing but her word and a friend's carbon copy statement. Now I can't go near my own house, or contact her, because apparently a text saying, "Hey, the electric bill's due" is terrifying. It's insane how easily she can toss lies in the air like confetti and watch the system catch them. But here we are. The hearing's in 2 weeks, and I'm building my case like my life depends on it, because it does. I've got location data, travel logs, GPS records, receipts. I even kept the text she sent after the first police visit, where she basically admits she exaggerated. My lawyer saw them and almost spit his coffee. I've got more proof of her lying than she has of anything else. And yet, my life right now feels like a Netflix docuseries nobody asked for, except the soundtrack is just my teeth grinding at 3 a.m. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I just stare at my brother's ceiling playing Choose Your Own Disaster. Option A. Restraining order sticks, reputation destroyed, finances wrecked. Option B. See Option A, but add careers suicide. And now the rumors are leaking. Friends text me. "Hey, you okay? I heard some stuff." Me. "Yeah. None of it's true. We're handling it legally." Translation. Thanks for confirming my wife started her smear campaign early. Someone, gee, wonder who, has been running their mouth, because in certain circles I'm now the unofficial poster boy for violent husband. The humiliation? Off the charts. The betrayal? Chef's kiss. Even my in-laws, who once treated me like their own, have flipped. My mother-in-law left a voicemail dripping with venom. Her. "How dare you hurt my daughter? Stay away from her." Me delete. What was I going to do? Call her back and say, "Hi, I'm innocent, and your daughter's lying through her teeth." Yeah, that would go over real smooth. Still stung though. I loved those people. Now I'm the bedtime villain in their family fairy tales. Finally, after what felt like a century of waiting in life's DMV, the court date for the restraining order hearing arrived. The days leading up to it were hell. No sleep, just me at 3 a.m., playing mental roulette. What if the judge believes her? What if my career tanks? Should I just open a bakery in another country if this goes south? When the day came, I walked in with my lawyer, my brother, and a binder so thick it could double as medieval armor. Amanda showed up with her lawyer. Guy looked like he charged extra for frowning, and 2 of her diehard friends, the kind who'd help her hide a body and still post "choose kindness" memes on Facebook. Listening to her testify was surreal. Like bad community theater where the lead forgot her lines but powered through with dramatic sobbing. The judge asks, "When did these incidents occur?" And she's all sniff. "I just can't," with a hand to forehead flourish. It took every ounce of willpower not to yell, "Objection, bad acting." Then it was our turn. My lawyer went at her story like a raccoon tearing into a trash bag. The smoking gun? Texts. Printed. Highlighted. Tabbed. Texts where she flat out called it a misunderstanding and admitted she'd exaggerated. When those hit the record, her face drained whiter than skim milk. Her lawyer muttered something about out of context and stared at the floor like it owed him money. And then came the cherry on top. Her star witness, under oath, admitted she'd never actually seen me be violent. "I only know what she told me," she said. Translation. "I'm just here for the wine she promised later." Then I got my turn. Calmly, I laid out how none of her claims ever happened. Showed proof that one incident occurred while I was in another state entirely, complete with travel documents. By the end, the judge didn't even blink. He dismissed the restraining order outright. In legal speak, the petitioner's claims lack credibility given the evidence presented. In human speak, nice try, lady. The judge even hinted her accusations looked malicious. Translation: we see what you pulled, and it's disgusting. Then he gave her the kind of look a school principal gives right before handing out detention. The court is not to be used as a weapon for lies, he said. If there'd been a mic handy, I might have dropped it right there. But I behaved. Self-control is my new skill set. Hearing someone in authority flat out say she was lying felt like a 10-ton anvil lifted off my chest. My brother, sitting behind me, exhaled like someone let the air out of a beach ball and patted my back hard enough to rattle my ribs. I swear, he was 1 second away from giving the judge a standing ovation. After the hearing, Amanda didn't so much as glance at me. She bolted with her little cheer squad in tow, loyal friends who'd probably help her bury a body, no questions asked. None of them could meet my eyes, which was a shame, because I'd prepared my best legally innocent smirk. I'd bet my last cup of coffee she's already out there spinning a brand new version of events, one where she's the trembling heroine and I'm the mustache-twirling villain. Let her. Not my problem anymore. Right now, I'm just enjoying the relief. The immediate threat? Neutralized. Like finally swatting the mosquito that's kept you up for nights. Sure, the divorce is still coming, but now I'm walking into it wearing armor and carrying a metaphorical flamethrower. Her credibility's gone, and she knows it. My lawyer's practically grinning these days. With the restraining order crushed, we can push for a fair settlement without her drama poisoning the process. Bonus: judges don't love being lied to, and the receipts proving she made it all up are already on the record. I've stopped trying to untangle her motives. Whether it was to impress her friends, feed her ego, or just for the thrill of wrecking my life, she didn't just cross the line, she set it on fire and danced in the ashes. I won't speak to her again outside of court. She can write poetry to her lawyer if she wants conversation. I'm focused on my exit plan, moving out for good, starting fresh, and putting as much distance as possible between me and that house. I don't care if it's bulldozed tomorrow, I'd still smell the betrayal in the rubble. Every room feels like a crime scene without the tape, just chalk outlines where my sanity used to be. This whole ordeal has wrung me out like a rag, then tossed me in the spin cycle for fun. The anger's still there. The heartbreak too, like a smug cat sitting in my chest, refusing to leave. But at least now I can move forward. My family's been my anchor. My brother Ryan's been a rock through all of it, at one point whispering in court, "If she sprouts horns, I'm calling a priest," which made me snort at the worst time. My parents were crushed when they first heard her lies, but they've been in my corner ever since. Mom even baked me cookies after the hearing. Handed me the tin and said, "They're chocolate chip, don't share with her." Friends have had my back too. One texted, "If you need me to accidentally spill coffee on her, I'm available." I declined but appreciated the spirit. Now it's about rebuilding, emotionally, mentally, maybe spiritually, though I'm not sure even a priest is equipped for this level of crazy. I'm still angry, and I know the hurt will linger. But at least now, the truth is out. And I walked away with my name intact. Thanks for listening till the end. Subscribe to the channel, even more shocking stories are coming your way.